Hey everyone, welcome. So today we are diving headfirst into one of the wildest, most fascinating, and honestly most mind-bending stories in all of mythology. We're talking about Narasimha. He's this incredible half-man, half-lion being, and this whole story is about how he found a solution to a problem that was literally designed to be impossible.
I mean, just look at him. You gotta ask, right? Why on earth would anyone worship something that looks so ferocious? Well, the answer is probably not what you're thinking, and it's all wrapped up in this incredible story about a cosmic loophole and the ultimate showdown between pure ego and unwavering faith. All right, so every great story needs a great villain, and believe me, this one is epic. Meet the demon king Hiranyakashipu. This guy had one simple, all-consuming goal. He wanted to be immortal. He wanted to conquer death itself and basically become the supreme ruler of the entire universe. And yeah, he was willing to do pretty much anything to get there.
So what does he do? He starts this penance, this meditation that is so severe, so incredibly intense, that he basically generates a cosmic heat wave. The Srimad Bhagavatam actually says that, quote, due to the fire energy released by the severe austerities of the king, we are unable to bear the extreme heat in heaven, and heaven has become uninhabitable. Just think about that. The energy coming off this guy's head was so hot, the gods themselves had to pack up and leave heaven because they were afraid of being burned to a crisp.
So this goes on for what would be billions of human years. Can you even imagine? Finally, after all that intense austerity, the creator god Brahma shows up. He's totally impressed by Hiranyakashipu's sheer willpower and endurance, and he's ready to grant him any wish he wants. And this is where Hiranyakashipu makes his big play.
See? He was clever. He didn't just ask for immortality flat out. He knew that was against the cosmic rules. So instead, he engineered it. He came up with a set of conditions for his death that were so specific, so seemingly airtight, that he was convinced he'd created a perfect logical paradox, a cosmic contract that could never, ever be broken.
Okay, get ready, because this is where it gets absolutely brilliant. He didn't just ask for immortality. He built this fortress of logic around himself. Let's break it down. First, he couldn't be killed by any being created by Brahma, which is, pretty much everything. Then, he covers the location. Not inside, but not outside either. What about time? Nope, not during the day and not at night. Place? Can't be on the ground, but it can't be in the sky. Method? Can't be killed by any weapon. And the final kicker? The killer itself couldn't be a man or a beast. I mean, talk about covering all your bases. He really thought he had locked every single door and barred every window to death.
So what happens when you give absolute power to a completely unchecked ego? Well, exactly what you'd expect. Believing he was totally invincible, Hiranyakashipu's tyranny went off the charts. He outlawed the worship of any gods and demanded that every single being in the universe worship only him.
But a rebellion started to brew, and it came from the most unlikely place you could imagine, his own 5-year-old son, Prahlada. While the entire universe was trembling in fear of Hiranyakashipu, little Prahlada, he was completely unafraid.
And this really sets up the core conflict of the whole story. On one side, you've got Hiranyakashipu, who's the ultimate ego, right? He sees power as something you grab, something you control and possess. And then on the other side, you have his son Prahlada, who is all about the spirit of pure devotion. He believed divinity wasn't something you own, but something that was present in everything and everyone.
So when his father asked him who he worshipped, Prahlada's answer was so simple, but so profound. He just said, Vishnu is the dearmost person. And that unbreakable faith, that love for a power that was bigger than his own father, well, that was something Hiranyakashipu just could not stand. To him, it was the ultimate act of rebellion.
Now, after trying and failing many times to kill his own son for this defiance, Hiranyakashipu's rage just hit its breaking point. He decided he was going to confront Prahlada's faith head-on. And this, my friends, leads to the story's absolutely explosive climax.
Totally consumed by fury, the king points to this big stone pillar in his court, and he screams at his son, "You say your God is everywhere. Fine. Is he in this pillar?" And Prahlada, with this perfect, unshakable faith, just calmly replies, "Yes, Father, he is."
And that was the final straw. Hiranyakashipu grabs his mace and smashes it against the pillar just to prove his son wrong once and for all. But instead of crumbling to dust, The pillar explodes with a sound so deafening it shook the entire cosmos. And from right inside that shattered stone, something emerged that the universe had never, ever seen before.
And this is the genius of the solution. This is the cosmic loophole in action. Let's just walk through how Naram-Sima completely dismantled every single one of Hiranyakashipu's supposedly unbreakable conditions. First up, man or animal? Nope, neither. A man-lion. Okay, what about inside or outside? Neither again. He drags the ting to the threshold of the palace, the doorway. Day or night? Not a problem. The whole thing happens at twilight, that moment right in between. On the ground or in the sky? Nope. He pulls Hiranyakashipu onto his lap. And the final condition, was he killed by a weapon? No way. Naram-Sima used his own nails. Every single condition was met and sidestepped with this incredible creative precision. It's just perfect.
So, you see, Narasimha isn't just some monster who shows up to win a fight. His very form is a work of cosmic genius. And this story is absolutely packed with symbolism about the nature of ego, faith, and what a higher intelligence really looks like.
The symbolism here is incredibly deep, and it actually starts with the villain's name. Hiranyakashipu literally means clothed in gold. Now think about that for a second. Gold acts like a heavy, protective shield, kind of like our ego, right? It tries to protect us at all costs. It feels strong, permanent. But what else is true about gold? It's also malleable. It can be bent, it can be reshaped, and it can be broken. So the name itself is this perfect metaphor for the ego's false sense of security.
And this completely reframes how we should see Narasimha. He's not just about brute force. He represents a divine power that operates outside our rigid, little logical boxes. His power is intelligent, it's incredibly precise, and it shows up in the exact form needed to solve a supposedly unsolvable problem. All to protect pure devotion from the tyranny of arrogance.
So after all that, this incredible cosmic drama, we come back to the big question. What's the real message here? What are we supposed to take away from all this?
I think the core lesson is a really powerful one. The story of Narasimha shows us that our ego is always trying to build these foolproof walls, right? It creates problems that seem logically impossible to solve. But what this story teaches is that there is always a creative, higher intelligence, a cosmic loophole, if you will, that can see a solution where we only see a dead end.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The story says this amazing power appears to protect devotion from ego. So it really makes you wonder about your own life, doesn't it? What rigid beliefs, what golden clothing of the ego are we defending so fiercely? And what seemingly solid pillar in our lives might just need to be shattered to release a strength we never even knew we had?